What if I told you that grant rejections can actually be avoided? There's a proven way to turn those rejections around, and it's probably simpler than you think. We've all been there. You pour hours into a grant application, you're incredibly proud of what you've created, and then you get the dreaded rejection email. No feedback, no explanation, just a flat out no. Sound familiar? The good news here is most rejections happen for reasons that are actually fixable. And today we're breaking down exactly how to avoid them so you can turn those no's into well-deserved yeses. If you've been ghosted or straight up rejected by funders, don't stress it. It happens. It's pretty maddening, but it's totally possible to create grant applications that stand out and get funded. Today, I'll give you insider tips to help you avoid the biggest grant writing mistakes. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll feel unstoppable. Before I give the solutions, we need to address the elephant in the room. Grants don't just get rejected for no reason. A lot of the time, it's the little details that trip people up, and some of them are minuscule. Let's break it down. Not reading the eligibility criteria thoroughly. Grant makers love to sneak in quirky rules, like requiring an animal rescue nonprofit to have its own facility. Yes, this really happened. And yes, someone I know got rejected for missing the buried clause. Don't be that person. If you've seen our videos before, you've probably heard us talk about how important a funding strategy is. Well, this is one perfect reason why. When you've created a funding strategy, a big part of the process is determining eligibility for each grant that you find. Doing this work before applying can save you a huge headache later on. And pro tip, if you haven't gotten a copy of Meredith's book yet, I'll link it below. She shares stories about her own doozies, goofing up on eligibility. So trust us, you'll want to learn from us to avoid your own costly mistakes. Unclear goals or weak budgets. If you can't clearly show what you're doing and how you'll spend the money, funders are out. They need to know that their money is going to be well spent and that it's going to a good cause. Pro tip, sometimes you also need to address the sustainability piece. I had one client who kept getting rejected by the same funder every single year. Why? They never spelled out how their program would hold up long term. Once we fixed that, boom, funded. Funders are worried their money will be wasted in the short term if there's no plan. No relationship with the funder. Did you just send in a cold call application without ever introducing yourself first? Never reaching out once? That's like asking someone to marry you on the first date. Buzzword overload. Sure, jargon sounds fancy, but it'll only get you so far in the corporate world. Funders want clarity, not fluff. To them, it just sounds like blah, blah, blah. A good example of this is using acronyms that your organization throw around all the time. Not everyone is on the same wavelength. Spell out those acronyms. If you use it a lot throughout the proposal, spell it out the first time, then abbreviate it later on. Also, avoid wordy sentences. Try to keep them roughly 15 words or less. Board diversity issues. Funders want your leadership to reflect your community. I've seen nonprofits rejected because their board didn't. And trust me, I've been there. As an in-house writer, we actually got rejected by United Way for this exact reason. Now that we've uncovered all the reasons grant apps can get that dreaded no, let's solve those problems so you can start getting the yes that you deserve. Build relationships. Like I said before, don't just slide in cold. Reach out to program officers early. You need to start that connection ASAP and start it with a human interaction. A phone call or an in-person meeting is always preferred, but a simple email works too. Ask them what actually matters to them. Sometimes what's in the guidelines isn't the whole story. Research if the funder will vibe with your client. The best indication of future giving is past giving. Check out who they funded before. Are their priorities really in line with your project? Make sure it clicks. If you're not sure where to start, don't worry. In the Global Grant Writers Collective, we teach you step by step how to find funders who are the perfect match for your client, saving you tons of time and guesswork. Create a thorough and impressive budget. Funders want to see where the money's going, especially by program, so you better get to breaking down those numbers. Honestly, this trips up so many nonprofits that I work with. Start thinking of your annual expenses in programs, not just broad categories. This rewiring can help you recontextualize where money is going so that you can make a killer budget. We can help you with this too. Our free grant writing course has a budget template and amazing training to help, especially if numbers aren't your thing. Check it out in the description below. Get a second opinion. A grant reviewer can be a lifesaver. Joel, a Global Grant Writers Collective member, had an application that, unbeknownst to him, was pretty much doomed. He got another pair of eyes on it and they caught a critical mistake. Saved it just in time. Now, Joel is making waves with forestry grants. Strategic storytelling. Don't just tell funders what you do, show them. Use real stats and strong narratives to back up your goals. For example, instead of saying, "This program helps kids," explain, "We've supported 250 underserved students this year, and our graduates achieved 95% college acceptance." Simply put, data hits different. Now that we've gone over solutions, let's talk about what to do if your grant does get rejected. First and foremost, don't ghost the funder. Always follow up. Ask for feedback on what didn't hit the mark. This intel can be gold for future applications. Not to mention, following up proves to the funder that you, pardon my French, give a It gives you that human element that we talk about a lot. It can give you a great leg up if you decide to apply again in the future. Case in point, one project Meredith worked on was denied after working on it for what seemed like forever. But instead of cutting her losses, she followed up and found out that they had only lost by 2 points. So she bolstered up her team members section, applied the next year, and boom, secured 600K. Rejection isn't the end, it's a stepping stone if you play it right. All right, let's rewind a bit. Today we went through the biggest reasons grant apps get rejected, from missing those fine print details to relationships or lack thereof, with funders. Then we went over actionable ways to dodge those mistakes, building real connections with funders, aligning your goals with theirs, crafting detailed budgets and strategic narratives, and seriously, let someone else prove your work. And lastly, we went over next steps if your application does get rejected. Now that you know what not to do, you're ready to take your grant writing game to a whole new level. If you found this video helpful, I got more goodies for you. Check out this video right here where we talk about how to guarantee funding and talk more on funding strategies. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.